Tools for nature-based solutions. In the previous presentation of Julian and Jurai, they already showed some of the barriers for implementing nature-based solutions. So the lack of narratives, also especially lacking information, the lack of integration into these current systems, but also the business case and the value of nature that is sufficiently integrated. Of course, the governance structures, but also municipalities work in a very siloed way. While for implementing nature-based solutions, you need an integrated solution. You need a big team of interdisciplinary people. So these are barriers. Also the tangible business case, gap of experience, of course, because it's quite new to many cities, so they have to familiarize themselves with nature-based solution and also the way of implementing it, the process that is needed to implement these. And as Julian already mentioned, the lack of political buy-in. Can you go to the next slide? And there have been developed a lot of tools in different projects. Many European projects have provided tools, but also individual institutes, companies that have created tools to help to implement nature-based solutions. For this project, we try to gather as many tools as possible for implementing nature-based solutions. At the moment, we gathered about 63 tools, and we try to evaluate these tools in this project and try to evaluate for different criteria, like for in which phase of the project could you apply the tool, what is the main purpose of the tool, but also, for example, the language of the tool, because we experience that's often a barrier for using or not using a tool. Can you go to the next slide? Based on this, we try to find some statistics. Well, we're just starting at it, but this is one of the statistics that we're looking at. What is the main purpose of the tool? What is the climate hazard that is being addressed in the tool? And as you can see, for example, flooding and heavy rainfall are two of the main hazards that are being addressed. But for example, extreme cold waves are less covered by these tools, and wildfires, well, they're in certain areas in the world very profound, starting from the natural areas, but not so much in the cities, and they are addressed far less, just as landslides. Can you go to the next slide? And if we look at the tools, there are a lot of different types of tools that we have analyzed. Many are software, but there are also just some methodologies or catalogs of nature-based solutions, but also just hard copy handbooks that have been made on nature-based solutions. Can you go to next? Another thing that we have been looking at, for example, is what is the main purpose of the tool? What does it do? Some tools are made for analysis. Even more have been made for the planning and the design of nature-based solutions. This can be in time or in space, for example. And also many tools are just informative or inspirational. It's a bit difficult to distinguish between both, but many tools are meant to inform people on the functioning of nature-based solutions and help them to see what kind of options there are for nature-based solutions in their areas. They're often very nicely designed and provide inspirational pictures and stories. Now I would like to show you a few examples of tools that have been made. One is the outcome of the Naturevation project, which is a European project, and they collected, sorry for the fact that the slides are not very sharp at the moment, but I think that was the result of copy pasting the images to Google. So for the whole of Europe, they made the inventory of nature-based solutions, and they show examples of these nature-based solutions. I think there are about 500 of nature-based solutions in here, and they provide an overview of what key challenges were, the urban setting, but also what's very interesting, the governance of the nature-based solutions. Where did the initiative, for example, come from? So this is a very inspiring set of nature-based solutions. But the previous one was really inspiring. This one is Racing. It's mainly focusing on climate adaptation, but it contains a lot of nature-based solutions which are proven to be very effective. And in this project, also a European project, they really try to quantify the effect of nature-based solutions, because this is something that is often really lacking, and people are looking for information and numbers to come up with a quantified decision on whether or not to implement nature-based solutions or what type of nature-based solutions. So from literature, they collected an enormous amount of numbers. They're rather difficult also to compare, because heat stress you can, for example, express as reduction in radiation, in temperature, physical equivalent temperature, etc. So it is a lot of information, but it can really help you. Next, yes. This is the adaptation support tool. This is one of the tools of Deltares, which can help you to design nature-based solutions in urban areas. So you can plan for nature-based solutions, you can draw them on a map, and on the right-hand side, you can then immediately see what the effect is on your storage capacity, your return time of a certain flood event, your evapotranspiration, but also how many cool areas you have created by implementing the nature-based solutions. And at the same time, it gives you an idea about the costs of the area, of the measures, and the water quality. Next. A bit similar tool, but totally different, is the green tool that has been developed in Belgium. Also in this case, you can draw a project area on a map, and in this area you can place nature-based solutions, you can apply nature-based solutions, and based on really local data, you can see what the effect is on, well, the different climate aspects like temperature and water storage, but also what it does for biodiversity and your air quality. The tool is only provided in Dutch at the moment. For financial, there are other types of tools. This is the Tape Stats tool, which is for urban areas. It's about the economics of ecosystems and economical benefits of nature-based solutions. And what you can do is set up a project area, and you can apply different kinds of nature-based solutions to the area. And these really calculate the effect expressed mostly in euros or euros per square meter on the benefit. So that's about the increase in property value, but also the reduced visits to doctors, for example. So this helps you with coming up with a financial or a economic approach. Another type is, this is also very inspirational, but also already mentioned a community platform, Opla. And Opla has different options. So you have really the community part, which is Ask Opla, where you can submit questions, and these can be answered by the community. There's also a marketplace where there's a lot of software, guidelines, etc. offered in a big database that can be used. And there's also the Opla community, where you can connect with other cities and work together, collaborate with other cities. Next. I'm missing one slide, but that's okay. No, please go next. It was not there. I was also wanting to explain the business model canvas, which will also be a subject of one of the workshop breakout sessions. And this business model canvas will help you to come up with a sustainable business case, where the normal business model canvas does not really have not always have a long-term vision on sustainability and the value of nature in it. The nature-based business model canvas does have this included, so you make it more explicit, and coming up also with other values of nature-based solutions can also help you to come up with different types of funding for nature-based solutions. Can you go back up then again, I think? Yeah, so some concluding remarks on nature-based solutions that, well, it's really depending on the situation where your city is in. So what are your concrete climate challenges, but also what is your local institutional context and what is the political awareness at the moment? But also what is your previous experience with nature-based solutions and the climate strategy is already incorporated in your city or in your policies. But depending on this, there are a lot of tools available. Often they are also for free, and they can help you to overcome your barriers with implementing nature-based solutions. So it is really important to identify the specific barriers. This is also what we will be doing later on in the workshop on tools. So what are your barriers, and how can these nature-based solutions help you with overcoming these barriers? And one of the things that we will do is to provide the database that we have on the 63 tools, and we'll share this online to be available to the community. Thank you. This was it.